What is up, my friend? Welcome to episode 95 of the Anthony Jennings podcast. And after creating my own personal brand and guiding hundreds of others over the past decade, I thought it'd be fun to share 7 of the biggest mistakes I see experts making when it comes to trying to increase their income and impact. So if you'd like to acquire some wisdom to help you avoid hitting some of the biggest potholes on your journey to creating an online empire with your personal brand, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Welcome to the Anthony Jennings podcast, the one and only podcast designed to help you become unstoppable in life and business. My name is Anthony Jennings. My friends call me AJ, and my goal with this podcast is to help you remember who you truly are so you can maintain your center in the chaos, embody your potential, and unlock freedom in your life and business. That being said, let's get into today's show.
All right, welcome back. If you've ever wanted to package and sell your expertise online, or if you're already a coach or a course creator, and especially if you're playing that game at an expert level, you probably already know how hard it is, yet super important it is to communicate confidently, convey your credibility, and build a business that gives you freedom. In fact, even though over $4 trillion are made annually in the US alone from online business sales, over 90% of people fail within the first 120 days. The first 120 days is crazy to me. Well, here's the thing. I have a process that will help you identify your blind spots, embrace your true value, and unlock your highest potential in life and business so you don't become one of those people who fail. And one of the best ways I know how to do that is to speak with you and help you create a strategy to get from where you're at today to where you want to be. And every single week, I carve out 1 to 2 hours to talk with established personal brand leaders who want to increase their income and their impact. And so if you're at this place where you're stuck or you're stalled out, let's talk. Simply go to talkwithaj.com to grab a time that works for you. And on that call together, we'll get ridiculously clear on where you're at, where you want to go, and what's stopping you, and create a game plan to creating your desires. And if I feel I can help you create your desires faster, we'll talk about what that would look like. And if it's a good fit for both of us, great. And if not, that's okay too. So again, simply go to talkwithaj.com to grab a spot that's left at this moment. So with that being said, let's dive into the 7 biggest mistakes I see experts making when it comes to working hard to grow their business. The first mistake is neglecting the inner work. Now, this goes way beyond reading the latest and greatest personal development books. It really, really does. I'm all for reading and growing, yet that type of personal development will only get you so far. The inner work I'm talking about is found in the areas of your life that you don't even know exist. Now, I want you to think about this for a second. There are pretty much 3 areas of our lives for learning. There are the things we know, there are the things that we know that we don't know, and there are the things that we don't know that we don't know. And I'll have you consider that in that place where you don't know what you don't know, is where you will find the gift that will allow you to create a quantum leap in growth and results. Now here's why. If you know that you don't know the thing, then you'd already be finding a solution to that thing. In fact, there are many areas of your life, many areas of your business where you're probably doing that right now. That's where the books and the courses come into play. Yet I've found time and time again in my own life and in the lives of my clients, when they're willing to step into that place where they don't know what they don't know, in that space with a powerful guide, quantum leaps can be made. And I'm here to tell you that if you don't get this and you don't find the courage to tackle your inner demons and your illusions head on, you're going to chase after tactic only to stay stuck and stalled out. The second mistake I see experts making is being fearful of being labeled as salesy. Now, this one drives me crazy personally. It really, really does. Who cares what they label you as? After all, your power and your profits are found in leveraging proven sales psychology to help the people that you feel called to help. I see so many established personal brands, super smart experts who've acquired so much wisdom from their life experience, who could be making so much more money, and then using that money to fuel their ideal lifestyle and help more people if they would just stop worrying if they're going to be labeled as that sleazy salesperson or not. I see experts who settle for a 1% conversion rate on their webinars simply because they're afraid to stack their offer and risk being labeled salesy. And the reality is that their perfect clients are the ones who are impacted by their fear. They truly are. Let me explain. If someone is willing to settle for a 1% conversion rate on their webinar, rather than optimizing it to be converting at, let's say, 3% by using proven sales psychology, that's 2% of the marketplace who's going to be working or who's going to choose to work with another so-called expert that you may or may not be able to get them as good results as you. And I'm here to tell you, there is a way to leverage sales and to fully stand in integrity. And in that place, you find a freedom unlike no other to fully give your gift to the world and be handsomely compensated for it. And if you don't get this and get over the fear of being labeled salesy, your conversion rates will suffer and running paid traffic will probably not be profitable. And worse, many of the people that you feel called to help will continue to suffer. So don't make this mistake. Dive into your shadow and learn how to create from that powerful place of having nothing to prove, nothing to defend. Now, the third mistake I see so many established experts make is constantly creating new marketing assets. Now, oftentimes people spend a lot of time creating a webinar or video sales letter or a funnel or something of that nature, a lot of time, maybe 40 plus hours. And that's okay. That's actually, pretty normal to spend that much time creating an asset that's going to bring in sales consistently throughout the year and in some cases even multiple years on end. And then once they create it, they then launch the asset, they get some feedback, right? They have some metrics now. And then rather than tweaking their creation, tweaking the asset, they just throw the whole thing in the trash and start all over again. Don't do that. Don't do that. I found the best path seems to be to create an asset that you're proud of and then spend your time tweaking and optimizing that asset. Now, this means looking at the data, looking at the feedback, and then looking for ways to improve your asset. Now, this may mean needing to massage your messaging on your registration page or your ad copy or potentially even repositioning your offer. There have been times I've seen someone ship an asset, it converts really well on the registration page, their show up rates are crazy good, and even the stick rates all the way to the offer work really, really well. But then when it comes to pitching the offer, it's kind of drop the ball there. And in this scenario, the problem is the offer. It's not the rest of the asset. Very rarely do you need to start from scratch. And I'm here to tell you that your gold is found in digging deep, not wide. Now, if you don't get this, you're going to stall out in growing your business past the 20,000, 30,000 per month kind of phase. So make sure that you're willing to dive deep here and really optimize those funnels, optimize your assets rather than starting from scratch. Now, the fourth mistake is not tracking their money. My good friend Shims Hartwell, you may remember him from episode 22. If you haven't listened to the episode, I'd highly, highly recommend it. But he posted something a few weeks back on Instagram stories that said something like, good hunters are master trackers or some variation of that. And I believe he's 100% right. And I think a lot of experts simply try to earn their way to their desires. I have you consider that money is currency and it flows. And I found that when you track money and you consciously direct its flow, your money grows. And if you don't run your money, then your money will run you. And running your money starts by tracking it. And the best way I've found to track my money in the game of business is by running a profit-first accounting methodology and then using the YNAB software. It's ynab.com, youneedabudget.com. This ynab.com is it'll take you there. And I talked all about this with Nick True on episode 92. If you haven't checked out that episode, we dove deep on this concept. Great episode. Now, if you don't get this, I'm telling you, you'll make more money, but you're going to constantly feel like you never have enough money. So align with the truth and track your money. And remember, the number of your money is not a measurement of your personal worth as a human being. It's not. Your money is simply a number to allow you to track so you can see if you're winning or losing the game that you desire to play. And I want you to remember that outside of the winning and the losing of the game, you as an individual have massive, massive value. Never forget that, ever. Never forget that. Now, the fifth mistake is failing to plan. I have personally made this mistake before, and I'll have you consider growing a personal brand to more than $250,000 a year requires planning. Like when you first start out in this game of business, you can pretty much just kind of fly by the seat of your pants. And it's called startup mode. Typically, you try everything to get the business up off the ground, into momentum, and into scaling of some sort. And I'll have you consider that running your business like a startup will only get you so far. Like it's going to get you into the startup phase. And beyond that, you must have a clear plan on where you're headed for each quarter, each month, and each week. Now, this doesn't mean that life's not going to throw you curveballs. Like it will. The resistance is a real thing. Yet when you have a clear plan, it gives you something to stay focused on as you lean into and facing that resistance head on. And as a result, rather than being derailed by the resistance, you will rally against it and create your desires. Now, if you don't get this, you'll constantly feel like you're being reactive to life, and eventually you'll burn out. Now, the sixth mistake I want to talk about is starting and stopping content creation. I mean, creating solid content each week, let's just be honest, it takes work, and there is no way around it. Yet content is part of this personal brand game. And the best way I've found to stay in momentum is making content a commitment, like a commitment with a capital C, one that is done, like period, no excuses. I'm nearly 100 episodes into this podcast. For almost a year now, I've created 2 episodes a week, all while traveling the world with a child in the midst of COVID, buying and renovating our new home, like navigating crazy big things. Yet when I started this podcast, in my soul, 2 episodes a week were done. Like in my bones of bones, I made a decision to fully commit for an entire year. Regardless of what the world threw at me, I knew 2 episodes a week were done. Like I didn't know what I'd be talking about. I didn't have all the guests scheduled. Yet I knew it was decided and done because I'm a sovereign creator. And if I say it's done, period. It's done. And that commitment is what carried me through doing the work. I see too many experts who don't really make creating content a commitment. And as a result, it's an afterthought. And I'm here to tell you, if you don't get this, then you're just going to ride the feast or famine roller coaster. And that does not need to be the case for you, because consistent content creation is simply a single commitment away for you. A single commitment away. Simple decision. Now, the last mistake I want to talk about, mistake number 7, is not creating an irresistible offer. And I see so many experts who are making this mistake, and I made it for pretty much the first 7 years of my business. I really made this mistake. I just didn't know any better. And thankfully, I've learned that lesson, and it's added a lot more money into my bank account. Now, there's a lot that goes into creating an offer that when people hear about it, like they're just like, I want that. And too often, personal brand leaders are packaging up their knowledge and their wisdom, and they're focusing on the features of their offer and assume that their offer is just so good that people's going to buy it. I'm here to tell you that this way of thinking cannot be further from the truth. See, the thing is information flows like water. There's more to this game than simply just packaging up what you know and being like, hey, here you go. It's for sale. And people are like, oh, yes, that's the exact thing I wanted. I'm going to buy it. My good friend Jonathan Heston sums up what an irresistible offer is perfectly in our course called the Offer Codex. He says an irresistible offer is to the right person with the right problem, with the right promise, from the right position, and with the right process at the right price. I'm going to say that again because it's pretty much just like an epic truth bomb for you. An irresistible offer is to the right person with the right problem, with the right promise, from the right position, with the right process, and at the right price. And if your offer is missing any one of those ingredients, marketing and selling your offer is going to be difficult for you. It will kind of be like running up a mountain with parachutes tied behind your back. You can do it, but I'm just here to tell you it doesn't have to be that hard. So make sure that you know how, or you learn how to craft an irresistible offer, because when you do, it's a game changer. So my friend, there you have it. 7 mistakes I see so many experts making when it comes to increasing their income and their impact. You know, I used to think that this game of building a personal brand and being a quote unquote expert and selling and making money from your expertise was as simple as just teaching people how to do things and then asking them to buy something from you. And I guess that's kind of like saying the game of soccer is as simple as running around on a field and kicking a ball into a net, or the game of football is as simple as getting a pigskin from one end of the field to the other without getting tackled. Like, it captures the point of the game, but it doesn't really capture the nuances of mastering the game. And if you're here listening to this podcast, I'm going to assume that you're on this journey to create an expert empire, which requires mastery. So I hope that by sharing these 7 big mistakes and their solutions, I hope that they really help you increase your income and your impact faster. Now, this wouldn't be a Sunday sermon edition if I didn't leave you with some sort of invitation. So my invitation to you this day is this. Are you making any of the 7 deadly mistakes? Like, are you neglecting the deep inner work? Do you have a fear of being labeled salesy? Are you constantly creating new marketing assets rather than tweaking and optimizing what you have? Are you tracking your money and consciously directing its flow? Are you failing to plan for yourself and your team? Are you starting and stopping content creation rather than consistently shipping each and every week for a year or more on end? Do you have an irresistible offer, one in which where your ideal clients hear about it and they're like, man, I want that thing? Like, which one, if any of these mistakes are you making? And if you're making one or more of them, like, how much money, how much fulfillment, like joy, is it costing you every single day? I'd be willing to bet that if you're making at least one of these mistakes, it's costing you at least $100,000 or more a year. And I'm dead serious about this. So I hope you'll take these mistakes and their solutions to heart. Well, my friend, that's going to do it for this episode of the Anthony John Amick podcast. I hope it inspired you in some way. And if it did, as always, I'd love to hear about it. Like, simply take a screenshot of you listening to the show on your device, post it over to your Instagram stories, and tag me at AJ Amick. I'd love to hear from you over on Instagram. So with that being said, episode 95 is a wrap. Until next time, my friend, I'm out. Peace.
Well, that's all I've got for this episode of the Anthony John Amick podcast, but we have plenty more to help you become unstoppable in life and business. So head on over to ajamix.com for exclusive resources, information, and tools to help you break through to a new level of freedom, purpose, and success. I look forward to having you back for the next episode. Bye for now.